Everyone wants to take their business, their skills, to the next level. Small and mid-sized business owners have exceptional insight into how to do this. They endure and thrive because they find ways to overcome the challenges that come their way, and they can teach us valuable lessons to apply to our own companies and lives. Stephen Nooner, founder and owner of Alkali, a company with a unique process that helps businesses more effectively buy and manage their insurance programs. And Bob Gibbons, builder of Riata Commercial Realty, a real estate advisor and tenant advocate, are two prominent Metroplex businessmen who, along with their weekly guests, will ask their and your probing questions, finding impactful solutions that will help you reach for the next level. Here are your hosts, Stephen Nooner and Bob Gibbons.
Welcome to the Next Level, Conversations that Propel Business. This is your host, Bob Gibbons.
And I'm your always prompt and on-time host, Stephen Nooner.
Not today. Bad boy.
I'm excited to introduce two former friends before I was late for this interview. They're great friends of mine, partners of Alkali, and to our clients. Heidi and Reid Rasmussen, co-founders of freshbenies, are here with us. Freshbenies is an innovative company that provides real solutions that save families time, money, and my favorite, frustration, saving frustration when navigating the healthcare system. Full disclosure, I'm a client too and a big fan of these guys, but really excited to learn more about their journey. If you want to learn more about Freshbenies, please visit freshbenies.com. That's fresh, BENIES.com. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
It's so exciting. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Well, we always like to start off with what we call the wisdom of others. And so we always, give a quote. And so today...
Which is never from us.
It's
not from us because we said wisdom. So that kind of knocks us out. But you actually gave us one. You actually gave us more than one. So Heidi, you said time will tell, and that's your father. Time will tell. It's a journey. Is that all one, or is it time will tell and then it's a journey?
I like to change mine to too many freaks, not enough circuses. That's really my favorite thing.
Too many freaks, not enough circuses.
Why did that come up on this radio interview with these
guys? I'm just
I didn't
saying.
mention that till Stephen got here.
That's a good point.
Too much time in the green room with Bob.
That's right. Probably. And then I'll get spiritual and I'll go with Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. How about that?
Well, no, let's go with the
No,
freaks.
let's stick with the freaks.
So tell us about the freaks. What's that about?
It's just a saying that I came across one time. And I was just like, you know what? There are too many freaks and not enough circuses for all of them. So
it answers a lot of issues, doesn't it?
It does.
And then we'll follow up with Christ died for every one of them, right?
Right. Amen, brother.
Okay, well, now you guys were telling us before the show a little something about you that was a little different that people may not know. And Heidi, you were the spelling bee champion in what grade?
I believe it was the 4th grade spelling bee. It was a long time ago.
And what was the winning word?
Oh my gosh, I have no idea. No idea.
Tree.
Bennies.
Bennies. Yeah. 1 N. 1. No.
And Reid, how about you? Anything that people should know about you?
Well, I grew up in the Canadian Rockies, and my family was in the Christmas tree business. So that's
Christmas tree.
That's generally a uniqueness amongst most groups. So
Yeah.
Wow, I don't think I've ever known anybody in that business before.
See what I mean?
There you go.
That's exciting. So now I know where I'm getting my trees from now on.
That's right.
Canadian Rockies.
Canadian Rockies, okay.
Well, I'd like to kind of just back into what you guys are doing, but starting with how you guys got started, because I think that's a very, very cool story, and I got to sit on the sidelines and watch it happen.
Yeah. Well, I'm from Canada originally, and my degree was in health administration, but in 91 I skipped the border and escaped to the U.S., and here I ended up on the insurance side of things. And over the years, I was working for, insurance companies and insurance agencies. And in 2009, I was seeing the ramp up of the Affordable Care Act. And it was reminding me of some things that had gone on in Canada 25 years ago when the medical market there crunched. And I just realized, at that time in 2009, our out-of-pocket costs were starting to get pretty high. Mm-hmm. And there was no end in sight, and there was nothing about the Affordable Care Act that was really going to start to slow down those costs. I mean, we just have so much advancing technology.
But it's called the Affordable Care Act, Reid.
You can call it whatever you want. Yeah. And but even then, I thought, man, most Americans that can't afford the kinds of out-of-pocket costs that we're spending. And so what we needed was some tools that would actually help people save a few hundred to a few $1,000 a year on their healthcare expenses. And then the other part that you mentioned was just help when they actually do engage healthcare. And there were tools that were out there. They just weren't being promoted, and they weren't available for most employees of, either as individuals or employees of small and mid-sized companies. And so I decided that we would release together and make them available for employers to really help round out that high out-of-pocket cost. And so I actually built a business plan for the company I was working for. I took it to them twice. They said no both times. And I was running the idea past Heidi, because she's this smart sounding board, on Labor Day weekend in 2009. And I said, what do you think? What if I say it this way? Do you think they'll get it? And she said,
I said, do you really believe the numbers? And do you really believe that people are going to need these kind of services and that they're really going to help? And he was like, absolutely. I totally believe it. And I said, well, why don't you start your own business? And he was like, no.
I said, no, I can't do this without I need their client base. Like that's the value that they bring. And
I was like, a few people, just saying.
Yeah, after a couple decades in the business. And so by the end of the weekend, I was writing my resignation letter. So in 2009, if you were in the healthcare industry in the fall of 2009.
Yeah, what a great time.
Yeah,
you were
start a
not
new business.
quitting your job
Right.
to go start a new company.
Right.
And we did, and it felt brilliant.
So we've had guests in here who have quit their jobs and gone home and told their wives. We've never had one where the wife
said,
has
"You should
told
do it."
them, go do that.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, she made the choice to be Chief Sugar Mama Officer.
That's me, Chief Sugar Mama Officer.
So we'd been, prepping ourselves so that we could start a company at some point. I actually didn't think that was the direction it was going to go, but it's the way that it went. And it sounded brilliant on day one, and it sounds good today. It didn't necessarily play out for the first couple of years.
So what was the business you were in before? What kind of industry were they? Was it health benefits?
It was
Brokerage?
benefits. Yeah, I was working for a general agency.
Okay.
That serves the broker community. So that's how I knew Reid, because Alcla had done business and still does business with his former.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So I was right in the middle of the business that I was starting.
So what was it about the Affordable Care Act specifically that made you think that was the right time to launch into this?
That's a good question that I don't usually get asked. It just had to do with how I felt that the Affordable Care Act was in some ways going to speed up the inflation on healthcare. Some of the rules that early on, it was before it even passed, it was about 6 months before it passed, I felt that if they went forward with some of the rules in there, they were going to speed up by having mandates and some of the things that actually caused some of the inflation that's hit, especially in the last couple of years.
Yep.
That it was just going to speed that up. So, but I really felt it was a tipping point as far as how high the out-of-pocket costs are. Honestly, most of us would love to get back to the out-of-pocket costs we had in 2009.
Oh man,
no doubt.
Well, and then massively increased complexity. I mean, almost everyone's seen the chart of how complex our healthcare systems become. And so as much as everyone loves saving money, what a lot of times the soft cost, what people don't understand is the complexity. They don't understand how much time it gets wasted dealing with the things that your solution provides. And that's one of the big things that I've noticed personally with my family, but then also when we're talking to employers and getting the adoption of the employees and getting them to get enrolled, is there's a lot of time, and you'd love to think that your employee isn't doing that on the work site, but chances are they're dealing with this stuff. Maybe the breaks are longer, maybe, and it's creating stress. It's taking their focus off of doing their best work. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. And not to make it a pitch, just as an explanation, some of the kinds of things that we have in our set of services, it's not insurance, but it pairs beautifully alongside an insurance plan. One of the things that Stephen was referencing is that we have advocates who will help people figure out where's the best quality place for me to get a knee surgery in Dallas sometime this spring that fits in my plan. And if you end up with an out-of-network claim, they'll be there to help with negotiate a bill for you. Or there's telehealth services, being able to get, like in January, I got the January crud and was able to have a visit in a few minutes over the phone instead of having to go in, save the visit, but save the hassle as well. So that's where it's saving some of the time and money. We've got specialist consults online. We've got prescription savings programs. So those various pieces that all just in different ways are helping that family
Navigate.
make better use of their health insurance.
Well, I saw an article in the paper not long ago where it was talking about the huge variability of pricing for the same procedure,
Yeah.
depending on which hospital you go to. And a knee surgery you mentioned
getting
can
worse.
go from like $15,000 to $65,000
Yeah.
Absolutely.
within the U.S. So when you're saying the best place to go, does it also take into account not just the quality of the service, but the cost?
Yeah, absolutely. So even for instance, an MRI, we just had somebody call the other day and said, if I hadn't called first to find out where's the best price for an MRI, on one corner it's $200, on another corner it's $1,200, and you would never know that as a normal American, healthcare consumer. You wouldn't know those kind of things. So to have somebody that you can call and do that legwork for you, that's
Yeah, before you're in that, I'm there
Exactly.
bleeding. And
exactly.
And it's huge because a lot of the stuff,
Yeah.
whether it's deductibles creep and our out-of-pocket costs on the plans, right? So there's greater impact to the individual having that, procedure done because, I mean, that's usually out of their pocket on a surgery like that. And the hospitals are buying a lot of the freestanding clinics. They make them still look like they're freestanding, but they're hospital owned and their bill rates are double and triple. And so navigating that is just, unless you know what questions to ask and what to look for, it's too much for even some experts to do.
Right. Absolutely.
Interesting. Well, so whenever let me ask you this: how do you sell your service? What's the channel through which you sell your service? How do you reach those customers?
Well, over the years, I had worked in the insurance industry, and I knew the broker channel, and that's where all health insurance is getting sold through. And so when we built our company, it became a very efficient way for us to sell. So we recruit and train insurance brokers to figure out how our service works. And so that's how it's one of the ways that we work with Stephen right now. And so
They need a lot of training for me.
No,
no, Steven's one of the awesome ones because he's always looking for those new strategies. And so we look for agents who are strategic, they're forward thinking, they're looking for some of those new strategies, and we go out and recruit them, and we work with them. So those insurance agents are our sales channel. They're all independents, and we work with them when they're planning their employee benefit programs.
And you do this nationally?
Absolutely, all over the
Okay.
country. So
All right.
we work with about 2,500 insurance agents around the country.
And so you guys are, I mean, obviously, congratulations. You're having a lot of success. So what would you say is your biggest challenge in your business right now?
biggest challenge in our business right now.
Just time, I think, is probably one of the biggest.
Yeah, I would say it's time. There's just, I think for us is the amount of work that we do, and we're both kind of driver personalities. So, and I'm sure you never hear this from your other guests. So just trying to have more of that work-life balance, even though I don't necessarily believe that that's true anymore, that you can necessarily have it. It's all kind of one, all mixed together in one thing. So
if you have this extra time, what are you going to use it for?
I actually would serve more. I think I would find places to help other business owners or help other women in corporate America or whatever that is, but serving more maybe at our church or in different organizations that we've come to love. So I definitely think we would do that and probably see more movies. That would be good. I would see more movies.
We love to travel, so
Yes,
maybe
travel,
do a little
that's
more travel. And then as far as, so that's for personally, that's probably our biggest challenge. Business-wise, our biggest challenge is just that the average American is just so buried in other information. It's getting their brain space. So it's the end user of our services. It's brain space on them. It's brain space on the employers and brain space on the brokers that we work with.
So what do you do when a major supplier buys one of your competitors? Stick around.
And now, Confessions of a Recovering Landlord.
This is Bob Gibbons with Riata Commercial Realty, and I am your recovering landlord. After 20 years as a landlord, I now use that experience only for the benefit of companies that lease or buy office buildings and warehouses. Today's confession: knowledge is power. We all negotiate from a position of power and strength, or at least we want to. In any negotiation, the party with the most knowledge probably has the upper hand. And landlords count on this being the case whenever you're negotiating a lease, because most landlords are professional real estate investors and they hire professional leasing agents and property managers. Landlords are in the market every day negotiating leases, while tenants probably only negotiate one, maybe two leases every few years. So tenants feel outgunned. Don't let landlords have all the power. As a former landlord for 20 years, I understand how landlords think and what motivates them. So let me put that knowledge and experience to work on your side of the negotiation. To learn more, contact me at texastenantrep.com. Again, that's texastenantrep.com.
Have you started making plans to take your business to the next level in 2016? Hi, I'm Stephen Nooner, founder and CEO of Alkali. We have a trademark process called the Empowered Advantage that enables CEOs, business owners, and entrepreneurs to more effectively buy and manage their insurance. Before sitting down to make your plans for the new year, here are just a few things to consider. Would you say that you have an actual insurance strategy, one that you can articulate, or have you just purchased a policy here and there over the years? If you have an insurance strategy, was it discussed under the pressure of a renewal deadline or considered earlier in the year to avoid fire drill decision making? If your answer was no to either of these questions, then you may not have the right partner on your team. Visit alkaliservices.com to contact us and take the next step to a bigger and better future.
My name is Mike Rentz. I'm the owner of The Perfect Light. We design, install, and service landscape and Christmas lights. I intend to use this experience on the Next Level show to sell Bob and Steven some Christmas and landscape lights.
Welcome back to the Next Level. We're here with our guests, Heidi and Reid Rasmussen. They are the owners and founders of freshbenies, and you can find more about them on the web at freshbenies.com, and Bennies is spelled Benies.
Web. Welcome back. So we kind of alluded to it. I love, you're just so high.
You love the web?
Yeah.
The interwebs.
You just like that word. I was like, Reid and I are looking at each other like, what the heck is he talking
There's
about?
a new word for it. You're behind the times, Bob.
Okay.
It's called the internet now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's the webby internet.
So let's start off with one of the things I mentioned right before on the hook. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, obviously you guys are having a lot of success. I don't know if someone took notice, but one of your major suppliers buys one of your competitors. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that.
So I can tell you the day. It was July the 1st. I found out from a news release. I didn't find out from our supplier, and it surprised me. It made me wonder. I was scared for a couple of days thinking through, does this mean that they're specifically chasing after us and are going to attack our market? Because if they wanted to, they dramatically could have forced us. Now,
July 1st of what year?
Oh, of last year.
Oh, of last year.
2016.
Okay, so recently.
Yeah, and so it wasn't something that I'd even seen coming, which was a surprise because we do tend to kind of think through this stuff. Like, what are the threats that are out there? That one wasn't one that we'd seen coming, and so it had us scared for a couple of days as we just thought about what might we do if that's what this means. Do we go somewhere else? Do we, how do we react? And so I spent a couple of days on the patio just thinking through what are their and their goal, our supplier's goal, is just to keep growing business. They're very much in a growth mode. So I'm like, okay, I really don't think that this is going to be them coming after us. We talked with them. They said it was not their goal, and so that was good to hear as well. But I thought about what do we actually do in response to this, and our focus has been to make sure that that end member really uses our services and uses it a lot, because in our space, most of our competitors don't focus on making sure that their users are using their members are using the services near as much. And so our refocus was keep doing what we're doing, and that is, can we get better and better and better at making sure our end member is using our service and using it a ton? And so it was just a refocus on that. So,
and I would say when we very first launched Fresh Bennies, we always said that if the employee or the member doesn't use the services, the employer will stop paying for the services, which is 90% of our business is employers who purchase Fresh Bennies for their employees. Employers will stop purchasing it, and brokers will stop suggesting it as an idea. So your whole sales channel just breaks down if the member doesn't love and use those services. So we always said that was our goal. So it was great, I'll say, as a co-founder and wife, to know that Reid's out there just totally strategizing the whole business model after that huge, like the bomb drops. And you're like, now what? And he's out there just totally thinking through it. And he basically just, leave him alone for a few hours. And he comes out and he's like, okay, here's the plan. I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. So,
So do you still use that supplier?
we do.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And
they're
no
fantastic.
problems?
No problems.
Yeah.
but we can't spend too much time on it because there's other things we want to get to, but that is your true value. I mean, I will go into employers that have from other brokers similar services installed that sometimes are even cheaper than what you guys offer, and I will literally tell them that we can show them in 12 to 18 months that the additional spend will generate a 3, 4 more, 5 times ROI on it. And it's just because of how focused you guys are on that usage and that the employee awareness and the success story and all the really marketing that you do to the employees to make sure that they stay engaged with it.
Right.
And that you cannot place a value. That's very hard to replicate regardless of how many copycats come in the industry.
Well, thank you.
Well, and I'd also like to say that in our conversation before the show started, you don't just help groups of people, but I can go sign up with just my family if I want to at freshbenies.com.
Yes.
Yep.
So that was pretty shocking to me. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and most individuals, like for an individual family, it's all of $12 per family per month. Like it
Outrageous.
doesn't even make sense price-wise as an individual how we can do that, but it's because we have the group business backing it up.
So you were talking about this being one of the risks that you hadn't anticipated. What are some of the risks that you see facing your particular business?
Right now, it is that there's competition, and that the competition is going through this phase where they're having this race to zero. They're going down in price and down in price. We made a conscious 2 years ago in 2015 when we saw that was starting to happen. We could go cheaper, except we chose not to. We said, let's make our focus that we'll actually add more services.
Value.
And instead of just taking one of these pieces, say the telehealth piece, which is kind of becoming mainstream now, and only doing that, we added more services that help round out the consumerism tools, and we went up in price. And so we increased our price and increased our value and started to focus on usage. And but we are dealing with the fact that the market right now doesn't fully understand that. We're glad that Stephen can understand it and can voice it here on the radio show. Yeah. But a lot of other people in the market are looking and saying, well, it's free over here, or I can get it cheaper over here. It'll be a little while before some of them learn the lesson.
Value wins. Other risks. You were talking about risks. So one of the things I've gotten to watch on the sidelines is Reid going off and starting, and then Heidi. Corey and I, my wife works in the business too, and we went through a similar journey. So share with that, because that's a unique thing when you go, and then all of our eggs are in this basket.
Yes.
So
yeah.
So I was 27 years at JCPenney. So my last job, I always say, if you were there during all of the melee that went down with the new CEO a few years back, if you were there and you had a V or a P in your title, which I did, you were gone. So I kind of knew my days were numbered. And so when it finally went down, and I got the note that I was being let go, Reid was like, well, you have to come work with me. And I was like, what? Like, first of all, you made like $8,000. No, you sold $8,000 last year. Yes, I was not profitable at that point. That's what we're saying. No. Yeah. And so it's basically holding his hand. I see this vision of the two of us holding hands and taking a giant step off a cliff, basically, because like, you got nothing.
One thing to give up, one income,
no income,
but to
no
give
revenue.
up the second one was a big deal.
Exactly. So, so you build those things up in your mind, like, what's that going to be like? And I think one of the ways that when you build that up in your mind, you kind of have to think, okay, really, let's get some fact-based information. What is your financial situation? What really is it? I think so many people stay at jobs or stay in their current situation because they don't really have the facts to make a really good decision. So the second we heard that I was done at Pennies, we got with our financial advisor and we said, okay, how long can we go without an income? And what does that look like? And what does that do to our retirement? And all of those kind of things. Do we have to eat cat food? All of those things. So it was really important and it's one of the things that I learned through that process is get the facts and make your decisions based on facts and not just, I'm really nervous, or I don't know how that feels, or that kind of thing.
False evidence appearing real, right?
Yes, exactly. Fear, exactly.
Getting clarity.
Yes.
So, you guys have had an amazing run. Keep growing. What would you say have been your 3 biggest insights growing your business so far?
I think you said, well, we both said it's a lot harder than you think.
Yeah.
I mean, both of us being in corporate America and then just stepping off the cliff, it's
You didn't just sign up for it like at
No.
the unemployment office. I want to be a business.
no.
Everybody watches, the TV shows, and it is the American Idol generation, and
Yeah.
and there's a whole all the
really good at this.
entrepreneurial version of American Idol makes it look like the way you get in business is somebody throws a bunch of money at you, and that's success. And it's not the way most businesses are running their business. But also, most people who work in corporate America think they're a business person, and we think I could so totally go out there if I worked on my own, I'd make $1 jillion in
Yeah.
a year, and like it's way tougher than you think it is.
Yeah.
That's one of the big insights.
Yeah.
And one of the others is just that I've bought into the entrepreneurial mindset. If it all fell apart today, we know that we would not go back and get other jobs. Probably we could. We'd be willing to work a job. But I think our focus would be, what's the next project we're going to do? Because it has been so awesome to work together. And that was the third thing.
Yeah, another insight. We read a book called Rocket Fuel. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
So what we realized that we didn't know about ourselves is that we are the rocket fuel couple, basically. So
You're the integrator,
Yes.
visionary.
and
Yeah, big surprise,
he's like-
right?
That's why he's out on the patio thinking, okay, well, what is this going to do to our business? And I'm the one going, I see the 50 million steps ahead that we need to complete and be the taskmaster on. And so it's basically how we work together. But we didn't know
perfect
that
partnership.
before. We had no idea we knew we'd work well together, but we didn't know that it would be that kind of a partnership.
Yeah.
So that's a huge insight.
We use EOS in our business too, and visionary integrator. It's once you get aware of this,
Yeah.
it makes a great working relationship even better.
It does. It makes
Absolutely.
you honor what the other person is bringing to the team.
That is a
So
great way
tell
to
us
say it.
about the app. I understand there's an app.
Yeah.
It's the coolest thing ever, Bob.
I'm glad I asked.
We, for a long time, we didn't have an app, and people said, oh, you should have an app. And I was of the mindset, if it's not going to improve the member experience, then why just have an app that's just linking you off to other apps? It just looked for a long time like all it was going to be was a waste of trying to say you have something cool that really wasn't helping the person. And then about 1.5 years ago, we started to really look at, gosh, if we didn't do like an entry level, we could do something that's very premium that would drastically increase the engagement on the member's part and really make a
Make it
way
easy.
better member experience. And as a result, we looked at what the price tag was to build that kind of an app, and it was a significant step. And we really struggled over that one for a while. But we did it, and it was one of the best things that we did.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I told you that our competitor being bought on July 1st, our app launched on July the 5th. And we were so excited
Thank
that we had
God.
something positive to talk to all of our clients about. And
funny.
it's been huge as far as helping people see the value.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys both for being on the show today. We've really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
For our listeners, if you'd like to learn more, please go to freshbenies.com. And if you want to know more about the show, go to nextlevelshow.com
Yes, we're on the web
or the internet
or the internet.
or the webinet.
Yeah.
All the internets.
And we'll be back next week with another great guest.
Have a great week.
You have been listening to The Next Level, Conversations That Propel Business with Stephen Nooner and Bob Gibbons. Join us every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. for more prolific conversations that will take your business to the next level.